Alright, this video was interesting. I've never done a solo run on Gen 2 like this before. There's a few of these that have been done on YouTube already, but I'm doing mine a little bit different. I'm not really going for like not leveling up as much. I'm just sort of playing as, say, you normally would, if that makes sense. But so I did this run with Chikorita. I'm going to go through the 100 additions to Gen 2, and this Chikorita run was dreadful. I had no idea that it was going to be this tedious. Not only is Chikorita like really bad for Gen 2 because of it's bad against like 7 of the 8 gyms in Johto, which is like insane. And not only that, it's also really weak. It gets killed by everything. And I'm not exaggerating. And if you're wondering what that graphic glitch was, when you speed the game up on Gen 2, sometimes that happens. I think it only happened once during this playthrough. But we've selected our starter. We've gone through to Mr. Pokemon's house, and we're coming back after battling the rival. Now, this video is an hour and a half long, and I sped the video up 213%, and it's still an hour and a half. That's how long it took Chikorita to win. It took me like 4 hours to do the playthrough in real time. With like, when I speed the emulator game up, it's going, I kid you not, it's going like 5,000 or 10,000 times its like normal speed that you would play it regularly. Got to battle youngster Joey just as tradition. I did level up a bit here because Chikorita's going to need it against Faulkner because it's already fighting at a weakness. To put it blunt, Chikorita is weak against Gym 1 against Faulkner. It did horribly against Bugsy in Gym 2. Whitney's not too bad, surprisingly. Morty was a nightmare because he uses ghost types, which Chikorita can't damage very well. It didn't do too bad against Chuck. It did pretty bad against Jasmine as well. Price, it's weak against ice types, and dragon types, it can't really damage them either. So it wasn't a good run. Chikorita is really terrible to use by itself. As we go through Sprout Tower, I will still do the main components of the game. Like, you don't have to do Sprout Tower, but since it's kind of like a you don't have to do it, but I still consider it as part of the story of the game, which in all these runs I'll do the whole game. So we're about to battle Faulkner. He wasn't too bad because he's not too difficult, being the first gym leader. As long as you just mash tackle, you win pretty easily. And so after this, I'll go and I'll pick up Togepi, because Togepi can learn quite a few HM and Rock Smash and Headbutt, which are actually quite useful. It's kind of like muscle memory that I pick them up. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm actually heading back to Newbark Town so I can just run backward and forth to hatch Togepi. So as Togepi hatches, I still consider this part of the story, which is kind of why I'm doing it. But it also gives me the Everstone, which helps a lot. Otherwise, I will end up by accident evolving Chikorita because of all the speed up toggles that I'm using. If I didn't speed the game up, this video probably would have taken like a week, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, Chikorita did that poorly through the run. So we're going to travel onwards to Azalea Town, which anyone watching these videos, I probably assume that you've already played through Gen 2 before. If you haven't, go give it a try. It is actually a pretty fun game. It's it does feel a bit empty at times, but remember this was released on the Game Boy Color, which had memory restraints, of course. Like Chikorita does alright through places like this, being a grass type. Now Azalea Town, it was around about this time of the game where I kind of got the impression that this wasn't actually going to be as fun as what I thought it was. Chikorita can't damage Bugsy's Pokemon very well. Razor Leaf isn't very effective. Tackle's not that strong, and it's literally all Chikorita gets. And Mud Slap's not even any good against Scyther because it's part flying, which won't damage it. So I decided to battle all the trainers in the gym, basically because I know that Chikorita's going to have to be at a higher level to stand any chance of beating trainers like Morty or even Claire in the last gym. So Chikorita's level 21. I thought Chikorita would do alright, so I set up Reflect to give it some defense. It didn't matter. If Chikorita gets poisoned against Bugsy, it's over. It can't win. And Fairy Cutter is super effective against Chikorita. Its power doubles every time it hits as well. Chikorita can only take 3 hits from Fairy Cutter. And yeah, like I said, if it gets poisoned, forget, it's not going to win. How many times did I battle Bugsy? It must have been about 15 or so times I think I had to attempt Bugsy. I got to the point where I ended up battling the rival first to gain another level because Chikorita was just doing that poorly against Scyther. Metapod, Kakuna aren't too bad, but Kakuna with Poison Sting, if Chikorita's poisoned, it's over. And yeah, Chikorita actually loses to the rival quite a few times. That time it didn't even get past Zubat. And it's level 23. It's nearly 10 levels higher than its opposition, and it's getting creamed. So I actually decided, what do? I decided to keep leveling up using Bugsy's Metapod and Kakuna, knowing that I wasn't going to win the battle unless I got like extreme luck. But I decided to give Chikorita another level as that might get it over the edge against the rival. If Chikorita gets paralyzed, it almost makes this battle unwinnable as well. I even tried to use healing items, which I don't typically think I'll do in these runs unless it's absolutely necessary. But Chikorita is literally that bad. I lose here like, is it 6 times already that I've lost? I actually decide to go and do like this little quest before battling Bugsy. Eventually, as you've seen, I've just beaten the rival trainer, and it was close. I could have actually got Mud Slap for Quilava, and that probably would have actually made it a lot easier. I ended up teaching Mud Slap to get over Morty, and I also got Cut now, which is it base 50? I think it's base 50 attack, which is a bit better than Tackle, to give me a bit better chance of defeating Bugsy and getting past this Scyther. As you see, it still doesn't work. Chikorita is still an awful Pokemon, and I remember that moment. Scyther had probably only a couple of HP left, and it got knocked out. knocked my Chikorita out. But then the next battle, I won. And I must have been playing for, I think it was close to 45 minutes to an hour at this point already. And I was like, man, this is insane. I didn't actually think that it was going to be this difficult to do a solo run. If it was Quilava or Totodile, sorry, Cyndaquil or Totodile, I would have been past this point already. But Chikorita has got so many weaknesses at the start of the game. I actually decided to battle Whitney straight away because at this level, against a normal type gym, Chikorita's probably going to be alright. So, Miltank's level 20 and Rollout's not actually going to do a lot of damage because it's not very effective. So, I actually figured that this wouldn't be too bad. And for once, can actually say that Miltank didn't make you want to quit the game. The thing is, unknowingly as a kid when I played this as well, there's actually a Machop that you can trade for an Abra. And that Machop gets double experience from being a traded Pokemon. Is it double or is it 25% more? Can't remember. But it evolves at level 28, which, I mean, you can reach here pretty easily since it's getting more experience. But the Machop actually also doesn't get affected much by Rollout, and defensively, it's strong enough. You can get like a level 15 Machop and you can actually just boot the Miltank like straight out of the gym. So I decided to battle a few more of the trainers here just to bulk Chikorita's level up a little bit, because I figure after this I'm going to have to go and battle Morty, and this gym battle does not go well at all. Now, oh yeah, before I should go any further, I am playing Crystal. I'm not playing Gold or Silver. For all of these runs, I'm actually going to do Crystal because the game's story is a bit more, it's a little bit more interesting to play. This rival battle, I lost. And I literally could not believe it. I could not believe I lost to that rival. I didn't even heal in Ecruteak City because I didn't think I'd need to. So after heading back there, I decide to heal so I don't have to walk back from Goldenrod. And the thing is, now that Chikorita's got Body Slam, you'd think things would get a bit easier, which they do. I think Body Slam's base 85 power, something like that. So second battle on the rival goes pretty well. But now we've got Morty, and this battle does not go well. Chikorita can't use its strong moves, so I battle the Kimono Girls. I battle them first so I can bulk Chikorita's level a little bit more, give it a bit more of a fighting chance. In the end, didn't really matter. I need to get Surf anyway, so we're going to go through to... Did I? No, actually, I decided to skip Morty's gym. That's right, because I knew that I wasn't going to win. So yeah, I've already recorded the playthrough and just sort of talking through as I was playing. I actually end up going back and battling all those trainers. I get to here, I get Strength from the guy here, and then realize that I need a Pokemon to use Surf and Strength. So you can get the Good Rod here in Olivine City, and you can go ahead and you can fish up a Krabby. Krabby can learn Surf and Strength, and this will get us through to Cianwood City, until I remembered I can't, because you need to beat Morty to be able to use Surf outside a battle. So instead of that, I go to the lighthouse and I battle all the trainers in here because Chikorita's got basically no chance of beating Morty. Not only that, Chikorita's also not very fast, and Gengar, Haunter, they're pretty quick. They'll use Hypnosis, they'll use Dream Eater, they'll use Shadow Ball, they'll use Curse. Like Chikorita, it just can't win. So I get back out of the lighthouse. This is where I figure that I can't actually use Surf, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to somehow beat Morty with this Chikorita. So we come back through. I ended up battling all those trainers a little bit later on because I simply had to. There was no other option. So going through these trainers was an indication already that I wasn't going to beat Morty. And I did actually forget that I had the TM from Mudslap. This is my first solo run, so I will get better at these. So if I used Mudslap to begin with, it might not have actually taken as long to get across Morty. I end up depositing the Pokemon in the PC after I catch on and figure out how to speed things up a little bit. And you can just see, like, level 37, Razor Leaf is doing next to nothing to Gengar. And I can't really think of what to do other than go and battle some of the trainers and around here just so I can try and bulk Chikorita up a little bit more. Yeah, there's not really much more I could have done. I even remembered that you can go to Mahogany. You can go to Mahogany Town before battling Morty or even going to Cianwood City, which is basically what I had to do. The trainers, now this is weird, with Gen 2's difficulty curve, you'd think the trainers out here would have stronger Pokemon, but they don't. The difficulty curve of this game is actually really strange. So I came out here and I gained a few more levels, but without Surf I can't beat the Red Gyarados, I can't advance the story any further, so I've got really no choice but to somehow try and get over Morty. So there is another trainer in here which I can battle. But so we're almost at level 40. And so even rebattling Morty at level 40, it didn't really make any difference. As you see here, Razor Leaf can shoot down Ghastly and Haunter, but by the time I get to Gengar, like, it's almost already over. Like, it's struggling to reach Gengar alone. And how many times did I lose to Morty? I must have lost to Morty, like, it must have been at least 20 times. It felt like 50. But I ended up teaching Mudslap here. This is where I kind of figured, I'm probably going to... I have no choice. I have to teach it Mudslap. And even so, even with Mudslap, on a bad battle, Morty would still win. So after all that time, I'm finally past Morty, and I can finally progress a little bit more with the story. I did think what would be better, going to beat Jasmine and Chuck first, or whether it was worth doing the Rockets after knocking off Red Gyarados. I did decide to do Chuck first because I figured he wouldn't be too difficult. Fighting Pokemon typically don't have very good special stat, and Chikorita with Razor Leaf should be able to get through them pretty easy. Mystical Man Ucene. I think I lost to him. I think I might have actually edited out a loss to him. Now, I remember when I was doing this, I actually lose to Chuck. And it's in pretty unlucky circumstance because his Primate's not any risk, but Chikorita was asleep for like 4 turns or something, which is, or was it 6? Like, it was asleep for so long, like it actually shouldn't have lost that battle. But I beat Chuck on the second attempt. I get Fly, and I end up getting the medicine for that Ampharos, or Ampy as it's nicknamed by Jasmine. And the encounter rate on this game is also really bad when you're in water. I get the feeling it's like that for a lot of the Pokemon games, but Gen 2 is like horrendous for its water encounter rate. So we'll heal up. I'll head over to Jasmine, and so basically Mudslap will do well against Magnemite because it's an electric type. It is also a good strat for the rest of the game going on. I don't actually delete Mudslap because it's got its accuracy lowering capability. It's actually a pretty useful move. So I lost to Jasmine quite a few times. Paralyzing Steelix was the strategy there, but like I was so close there. That Magnemite, I think it's actually a range, like because in these games your attacks don't always do the same amount of damage. But Steelix is being sent out second. Usually it'd be sent out third, but because Magnemite's... Well, no, in theory, I'm not actually sure why Steelix was being sent out second. Usually they won't send out the Pokemon if it's weak to your type. But anyway, we end up getting past Jasmine. Now I'm going to head back over to Mahogany Town so I can go and I'll go and knock out Red Gyarados, and then I'll do the Rocket part. The Rocket part was... A lot of people really don't like this part of the game because the Rocket hideout, along with the radio station takeover, they're quite lengthy periods of the game, and their Pokemon levels are still around like the level 20 mark, so you don't even get much experience for it. And yeah, the difficulty curve of this game is like really, really odd. It's like they're like level 20s around here, like 17, 18s. Even like the executives, I think they're around like level 23 to 25. And even at this point, Chikorita's level 45, and it's still like, it's not even one-shotting some of these Pokemon. And yeah, I forget I accidentally step on that warp panel and go back to the start of the base. So it doesn't take too long. I don't actually battle all the trainers in here. I didn't think it was necessary because a lot of them aren't that strong. I just battle the trainers that I need to, or the ones that I walk in front of while they're facing me as they spin randomly. But yeah, I didn't think it was necessary here to battle all the trainers. Most of them aren't that strong. I'm not going to get that much experience. So we go through here, we unlock the door with the 2 passwords, beat the executive, and we get the password off of the Murkrow, which will allow us to feint all of the Electrode, which if you turn on your radio card here, you can actually you actually hear like a strange buzzing noise on one of the channels, which a lot of people miss. And yeah, fun fact, if you run from the electrode, they don't actually faint. So you actually have to beat them or catch them to advance. Krabby can learn Whirlpool. The reason why... I actually had a thought on this. Usually I would teach Waterfall to Red Gyarados. Usually I catch him. But you also get a Dratini after you beat Claire, and Dratini can learn Waterfall. So Price, on the other hand, Price wasn't too difficult because his ice types, some of them are part water, and I think Pilot's Wine is part ground. So Grass is actually pretty good against this gym. It's weak against the ice type attacks, but against Price, Chikorita actually does pretty good. Price doesn't really put up that much of a fight. So Price is probably the easiest gym. Mind you, Chikorita is leveled quite high for this stage of the game. And I need to go and defeat all of Team Rocket. And this is where I realize that I don't actually have a flying Pokemon, which it isn't too bad because I can speed up the game. It only takes, a minute. And yeah, I encountered Raikou, which was quite a nice surprise. Speaking of Raikou, the catching mechanics in Gen 2 are so bad. Like, you can have Pokemon in red health, and because of the way Gen 2 is programmed, you don't actually get an increase in catching percentage if you have the Pokemon under a status effect, which is an oversight and a half, considering how bad. Now, alright, so you saw the level. Chikorita is level 49, and I could not get past this executive. He's coughing and he's wheezing. Like, coughing and wheezing aren't that good a Pokemon, but because Chikorita is constantly getting poisoned, I couldn't get past him. I battled him like, must have been 10, 15 times, and Chikorita just couldn't win. Like, I could barely get through 3 of his 6 Pokemon. I even picked up Dig. I wasn't sure if Chikorita could learn Dig, and it can't, unfortunately. Even with Mud Slap, it didn't matter. Chikorita is so weak. And another thing is, Mud Slap, I think it's only base 20. It's not a very strong move. It drops accuracy, but like, if you just get unlucky, you just can't win. And basically, as soon as Chikorita gets poisoned, the battle's over. Poison on this game actually takes quite a bit of your health. And so basically, you need to beat this trainer so you can find out where they're stashing the director. And he gives you a key to go through the underground path, which I haven't actually been down yet. And as you can see, I struggle to get past this wheezing. The coughing aren't too bad. It's mainly wheezing that was the problem. I had to go back here like maybe 15 times. I didn't think Chikorita would be this bad. Like, I honestly didn't. I had no clue. Like, Chikorita is struggling to get through the first 2 coughings. It's 20 levels higher than its opposition, and it just can't win. So, right at this point where you see that save state message pop up, I actually gave up and decided to come back to it the next day because I had just had enough. I'd been playing for like 2 hours and could not believe that I had not even finished the Johto region in that amount of time. So I thought, well, Chikorita's going to win eventually. The wheezing and coughing do give out decent experience. So I can just continuously battle this trainer until, Chikorita has enough levels that it can finally win. And I actually decided to catch a Pidgey here, so I could use Fly. Because it just saves a bit of time. And I also figured that later in the game, having flies probably going to be pretty handy. So because I can't beat that trainer, I decide that I might as well just go through and get to Blackthorn City. That way I can fly back there after I finally beat that rocket executive in the radio tower. The fake director. Now, mind you, I hadn't played Pokemon Crystal for a while, so some of these puzzles actually, I couldn't remember how to do a couple of them. So now that we got Waterfall, the Dratini I'll pick up from Dragon's Den will learn Waterfall. So after coming through here, I actually didn't realize at this point you only need to push that rock through to actually advance. To get the rest of the items in the little area you go down is why you need to push all 4 of the boulders down there. And I actually got it wrong, and I was like, and that's when I actually saw, oh, hang on, I can still get to the ladder. I was like, I'm not really interested in getting all the items in just solo playthroughs. So as we get on through the ice path, just rewatching these puzzles. If you look at them from a bird's eye angle, like on an image, they're actually quite easy to figure out, but because your screen doesn't doesn't have the whole sort of picture in, it actually is harder. Now, that guy doesn't move until you've done radio tower and got the rockets out of there. So I decided to fly back. We will make our way back to the executive, and I will proceed to lose to him maybe another 10 times or something. It just can't get past Wheezing. Sludge isn't that strong, but because of its poison capabilities, it's actually a decent move. So we're about to hit level 52, which is good. Body slams. I actually got past Wheezing that time, and I was devastated. I actually thought that I was going to knock the coughing out and actually beat the battle with Chikorita fainted, which would kind of undo the solo run. But yeah, so I figure Chikorita is eventually just going to get lucky and it's going to win. That wasn't the time it got lucky because it got poisoned. Not only that, like Chikorita, out of all the starters of this generation, Chikorita was probably the worst. Its move pool is pretty bad as well. It doesn't really learn any good moves. It has Body Slam. You know, Razor Leaf is only like a base 60 or a base 70 or something. Like Razor Leaf isn't that strong. The only other good grass move it learns, it does learn Mega Drain. Solar Beam's not really any use because it takes 2 turns to use the attack anyway. Along this little pathway just under Blackthorn, there's a few more trainers who have about level 30 or so Pokemon, which are good to get Chikorita another level. I couldn't believe how difficult this was. I honestly did not think that I would have this much trouble getting through this fake director. So finally I get a bit of luck and I don't get poisoned. I managed to paralyze Wheezing, and finally, after maybe like 30 attempts, I finally get past that director, and I can finally get through this stage of the game, which usually is very, very easy. It's the funny thing is, with these sorts of runs, easy parts of the game suddenly become hard, which is like, it's like Chikorita's level 54, if you had a normal team on this game at level 54, you would absolutely blitz this part of the game. Like, you'd one-shot everything. And you see, I actually lose to the rival. I don't think I've ever lost to this rival trainer before. Like, at this point in the game, usually your party's a pretty good level. Like, around Cianwood City and Mahogany Town, and I actually battled that trainer so many times. By muscle memory, I accidentally go back into the radio tower instead of the underground. That's how much PTSD I got from trying to beat that fake director. So just using Body Slam and Mud Slap ends up getting me through him. I got really unlucky in the first battle, I think. And really, I'm seeing more coughing, and I'm seeing like just more like sort of torment at trying to get past that director. This whole part is actually pretty easy. I do run out of Body Slam, but I can use Cut, which Cut's not the best move, but it's also not the worst. Now, I remember I got knocked out in here. Was it against... I think it was against the last guy, but it's because I didn't have any Body Slam PP. If I had Body Slam, I would have beaten him. Wait, no, maybe I didn't get knocked out in here. Ah. Well, anyway, that's the director saved. There is a little extra story bit here. Crystal differs from Golden. Oh no, I got knocked out against one of the. I got knocked out against one of the Rocket executives in this part. That's right. Yeah, I think I got knocked out by the Houndour or the Houndoom. Yeah, I think... No, maybe I didn't. I thought I remember... Oh, unless I edited it out, because this video did actually go for a long, long time. If you're still here watching, thank you. I mean, this run was not fun for me to play. I don't really know how fun it's going to be to watch, to be honest. Now, Crystal differs. This isn't in Silver and Gold. Crystal sort of had like another storyline essence revolving around Suicune, which was a nice addition. So Crystal's just got a couple of extra bits added on, which is why I'll do these runs on Crystal rather than Gold and Silver, because you get these extra little story bits which just add a little bit more interest to the game. Now, coming up to Claire's gym, Claire wasn't actually too bad, because Chikorita's level 58, which is like way over leveled for this point in the game. And believe it or not, you think being 20 levels or 10 levels higher than the Elite Four would make it easy. Just wait. So I did get knocked out the first time. Dragonair using Ice Beam's actually going to knock Chikorita out pretty easily. But I figured there's no better place to train than Dragonairs. They give out pretty good experience. I'll just keep using Body Slam until Chikorita inevitably wins. And it actually gets the job done pretty quick. It was only second, I think that was the second attempt. Body Slam got through Kingdra. I mean, I got lucky with the paralysis as well, but Kingdra can use Double Team, which can make that battle an absolute nightmare. So we run on through and we get the Dratini here. Now, this wasn't in Silver and Gold. This was an addition to Crystal. In Silver and Gold, you had to get the Dragon Fang. You don't actually have to get the Dragon Fang in Crystal. It is still there. It's a little bit to the right. But so basically you enter... I don't think you actually have to exit the cave. I think you just have to exit the building itself. But you come back and you can get a Dratini. If you answer all the questions right, it'll have extreme speed as well, which is it's an alright move. It's not that powerful, but you always go first, even over quick attacks. So basically now it's time to go to the Elite Four. And I actually had somewhat of a difficult time getting there as well. Some of these trainers actually knocked Chikorita around a little bit. And I didn't really take into consideration how difficult the Elite Four might be. I didn't think they'd be that difficult, and I was very much wrong. If you're wondering, if you're still watching and you're looking at the time left on the video and you're going to ask the question, did I do the post-game? The answer is yes, I did do the post-game. I did go through Kanto. Chikorita absolutely blitzes Kanto because it's so over-leveled at that time. So what are we, level 61? Yeah, I remember now. I got through... I went up to the rival trainer in Victory Road and he actually beats me. This is insane. He confuses me with his Golbat, which takes off like almost all my health. I can't beat Typhlosion and Chikorita gets knocked out. And the thing is, there's no Pokemon Center down here, so I have to go all the way back through this whole pathway of getting up to Victory Road. And it was at this point where I was thinking, like, what am I even doing with my life? Like, I felt the ends of sanity catching up to me doing this playthrough. So I actually decided to just beat all the trainers here, thinking I'm probably going to need it anyway, and I will attempt to beat Red as well. So, I mean, I'm probably going to need to be level 100 to beat Red. So I leveled up a little bit more here. So we're going back through. I'm pretty sure I beat him this time. I don't think, I used Mud Slap on Typhlosion. No, I did get knocked out again. That's right, I did get knocked out again. Which means, of course, I kind of need Dratini and some of those Pokemon with me. Which means, yep, I have to walk back all the way there again to battle the rival, which... at this point, you can imagine I was getting tired. I'd been sitting, I think at this point on this day, because I ended up doing this over like 3 days. So we get back up to the rival again at level 63, and I think he got a bit lucky in the last one as well, because I got paralyzed by... Now, I actually did a save state here, so I didn't have to... if I did lose, I didn't have to walk all the way back, which I'll do in future runs. Like, I'll start to get better at these runs the more I do them. But as Murphy's Law usually goes, as soon as I save, I beat him. So I'll stock up on some hyper potions and some full heals. I won't save during the Elite Four. I will go through it like you save after a trainer. Because I get the feeling if I do that, it kind of beats the purpose of the way you usually do the Elite Four. Saving between trainers is a little bit cheap, I guess. But so now we're at the fun part. This is where I spent maybe an hour. Like, I spent nearly an hour of real time trying to get past the Elite Four. Like, Chikorita struggles to get through Will. And I actually did another save state there. I actually had enough and I actually came back. This is day 3 of doing this run. Because, yeah, Chikorita actually was that bad. Chikorita is horrible for the Elite Four as well. It's weak against quite a few. It's horrible against Koga. Against Will's not too bad. Koga was horrible. If Chikorita gets hit by poison against Muck, or even it's either his Muck or his Crobat, I think, that use Toxic, and then Chikorita will like lose more and more HP every turn. And Fortress, if Chikorita got to a low enough HP, Fortress would use Explosion and just wipe it out. So that's why I have to use Mud Slap against Fortress. So, what are we? We're back at Muck. Crobat is very, very fast, and it's pretty strong. Chikorita did not do well at all against Crobat. So I wasn't like resetting after a loss. I just kept rebattling because Chikorita will level up, and I figure like Chikorita's eventually like it's going to level up to the point where it can win. And the more attempts I did on this, right, the more I began to realize I might not actually be able to beat Red with Chikorita because it's just so weak. And yeah, at this point, like, this run was extremely tedious. It was tiring. It wasn't fun anymore. Chikorita just gets absolutely slapped against the Elite Four. Now, this is the first time I got past Koga, and I thought, well, Bruno's pretty easy. Chikorita's good against most of his Pokemon. Get through Machamp and Onix. Yeah, Bruno's not too difficult. Believe it or not, okay, Karen was the hardest. She was horrible to battle. And not only that, I kept running out of PP for Body Slam. That Houndoom was the bane of Chikorita's existence. Houndoom's, he's pretty bulky. Even though Chikorita is getting close to 30 levels higher, that Houndoom is so good. As well, Flamethrower just murdered Chikorita. So basically, I have no choice but to keep leveling up. And look at that, I still lose to Koga. I still cannot get past Koga every time I battle him. I don't think I lost to Will again at this point. I think I beat Will every time. But like level 72, and I'm not even one-shotting Pokemon that are 30 levels lower than Chikorita with Body Slam. Body Slam's not a bad move. It's like an 85 base power. And it's not even one-shotting like an Ariados or like a Venomoth. Pokemon that don't really have that high a defense. Yeah, that's where I got knocked out by Bruno, and I thought, wow, Chikorita actually got knocked out by Bruno. Bruno is a bit of a meme because of, how bad he is. Particularly in Gen 1. In Gen 1, he's like super bad. He's a little bit better in Gen 2. And as you see, still struggling actually to beat Koga comfortably with Chikorita. I actually end up start using Cut a bit more so I can preserve my Body Slam PP because I'm going to need it for Karen. And I'm also going to need it for Lance as well. And like that's the thing, I haven't even got past Karen, let alone Lance. Lance has a Charizard which is stronger than that Houndoom. Which yeah, it's kind of terrifying. He's also got Dragonite, which have Blizzard. He's also got an Aerodactyl. Like, Lance is going to be harder than Karen. Not only that, if Umbreon uses Sand Attack, I can't win. Like, Chikorita will miss. Houndoom will use Flamethrower. I'll get really, really agitated and just want to throw the laptop out the window. But, you know, level 75, like, we're 3/4 of the way to max level and we're struggling to get past the Elite Four. Like, that's how bad Chikorita was. So, there we go. We have hit level 76. Chikorita is actually starting to one-shot a lot of the Elite Four. Now, also, if I get paralyzed, I can't win. If Chikorita gets paralyzed, Houndoom will go first automatically. It'll use Flamethrower and it'll survive one, but it won't survive two. And Chikorita can't one-shot Houndoom. Like I said earlier, I sped this up 213%, and the video still had an hour-and-a-half timestamp. If I speed the video up anymore, it gets kind of difficult to watch. So, if any of you are keeping count of how many times that I had to attempt to beat the Elite Four, leave it in the comments, because I didn't want to count. It was too depressing. So what are we? We're level 78. I think level 78 is the level that I actually beat the Elite Four at from memory. I think it took me about 3 attempts to beat Lance. I might have been level 80. Yeah, now here I saved. You saw the save state pop up. You know what? It might have actually taken me 4 days, because after that I had just had enough. Actually, yeah, it did take me 4 days. I did end up on this day of playing, I did actually manage to beat Red. Spoiler alert, but I did manage to beat him. So Chikorita at level 79. You know what, I think I was level 81 when I ended up getting through. Oh man. Yeah. I hit one of the F keys by accident on my laptop when I was playing that, and it loaded the save state. Which, yeah, had me doing that for a bit. Just when I thought the run couldn't get any worse, I knocked a level off and had to redo it. This was a horrendous playthrough. This was not fun. Even now, Bruno's even still getting close to winning again. So now I get back to Karen. I have no body slam PP. And yeah, now I'm out of Mud Slap as well. I did manage to get Gengar down. I only just managed to beat Karen that time. But I use the Max Ether here. Now remember, if I use the Ethers, I can't use them again, so I will have to reload my save state. Lance. Now this is the first time I got to Lance, isn't it? It is the first time I got to Lance. I finally got through Karen and got slaughtered by that Charizard. So again, I have to load my save state because I use my Ether, which I think I'm going to need. So I'm down a level again. And this is where I'm not going to lie, I did think about giving up the run and starting doing these runs with better Pokemon before I did the weaker ones. My mentality doing runs is just going to be, I'm just going to play the game as like I normally would if I was playing it either, you know, for the first time or just as I normally do. This is normally how I do the runs. I don't try and use outlandish strategies. I usually don't over level that much either. I level to the point where the game's comfortable, not to the point where I'm one-shotting everything, but like to where it's still challenging but not difficult. I mean, mind you, I've played through Gen 2 like hundreds of times, so like I already know what to expect in the game. And fun thing, if Chikorita gets poisoned against Koga, the AI knows to continuously spam Protect with Fortress, so you literally have to die from poison and you can't damage Fortress. Like, that is the ultimate dick move that this game could do. So, look at that, level 81. I am the same level as Red's highest level Pokemon, and I'm still not past the Elite Four. I've made it to Lance. I've made it to him once, haven't I? Like, the fact, even at this level, I can still lose to Koga is just insane. Look at that, level 81, and I'm still losing to Koga. There, mind you, there's probably a better strategy that I can use than this, but like I said, Chikorita's move pool is really bad. There isn't really any other move that I can teach it that's really going to change the quality of its battling. I was actually thinking, am I going to have to get to level 100 to beat the Elite Four with Chikorita? I don't, but... So that's what I mean. Say Fortress used Protect, and Chikorita was poisoned. It will keep using Protect and just make me faint from poison. Which, this game was released, it was either 2000 or 2001. So for a game of that time period to have that sort of AI, that's actually not too bad that it can actually figure that out. Anyway, we get through Koga again. I've only got one Body Slam left. We're level 84. And basically against Karen, I can't win unless I use Body Slam. Body Slam's barely got any PP. What's it got? It's got 15, which isn't bad, but like, you use it quick. I had to look through my TMs. Is there anything I can do to teach Chikorita anything good? The answer is no. We beat Will again. Off onto Koga. If you get lucky against Koga, you will beat him, as you'll see, I think. Well, I nearly beat him with full health. I only got hit once in that. So what are we? We're level 85. And even at level 85, Chikorita is still not one-shotting Bruno's fighting Pokemon, which is, like, she's pretty insane. So, with the use of Mud Slap lowering accuracy on Gengar and Houndoom, I managed to get through, and I get through to Lance for maybe, the second time? Now, if I get paralyzed, it's game over. Charizard's going to use Flamethrower, I'm going to get knocked out. So, I restock on the Hyper Potion. And I bought a couple more full heals. It's more for going on against the Kanto gym leaders more than anything. So I'm finding it now, getting through Koga is actually pretty easy. He's actually not as difficult as what he was. It's what he was earlier. So what are we? Level 86. And we're starting to do like half of Houndoom's health with a mud slap, so I shouldn't have much more problems getting through Karen. With a paralysis, that is not good because Charizard is going to use Flamethrower, and I'm not going to be able to get through Dragonite. Oh great, Dragonite's also got Fire Blast, which is probably a one-hit. Chikorita's special isn't that great. Dragonite's got very good special, and Fire Blast is a base, is it 120? Yeah, base 120. So it's basically going to be a one-hit KO. So what have we hit? Level 87. Level 88. And we are still struggling to get through the Elite Four. So I know that I have to preserve Body Slam, so I'll hit Body Slam once and then I'll use Cut so I can, and look at that, I still lose to Karen at level 88. To the point where I actually start using Cut against Will so I can preserve Body Slam. I think I actually even start using Cut against Koga because his early Pokemon aren't going to knock me out, and I can use Razor Leaf to knock out the rest. That way I can preserve my Body Slam. I can just heal Chikorita with some potions and stuff. Without the healing items, it'd be impossible. Chikorita can't do it. So the healing items between the Elite Four, basically, you have to use. Yeah, and we can still lose. Even at level 89, we can still lose. So it takes a great deal of insanity to attempt this. As I found out, I'm thinking about Pokemon like Sunken, Yanma, what's another? Smeargle. How difficult are they going to be to do a run like this with? That's scary. Like, they are going to be so difficult to do these runs with. So I'm finally at Charizard. I'm level 90. I knocked it out, one hit KO with a Body Slam. Dragonite, I got a paralysis, fully paralyzed. And Lance used a full restore. But it's actually outspeeding Dragonite. This could actually be the one where I win. And there we go. At level 90, I have finally beaten the Elite Four. At this point, it says in-game time of 46 hours. I didn't actually spend 46 hours because I'm using my R trigger to speed the game up. It confuses the game time and it ends up like... Oh, funny thing, he actually still says I'm a rookie trainer even though I've beaten the Elite Four, which is funny. But so you get a ticket for the SS Aqua from Professor Elm after you beat the Elite Four, and you can head over to Kanto. I will admit, the first time I played this and I realized that I would get to go back to Kanto, I thought it was the greatest thing I had ever seen. Unfortunately, the Kanto part in this game is kind of empty. It would have been down to like memory requirements of the game at the time, since it was on a cartridge on the Game Boy. Like it didn't have a lot of memory on those old cartridges, so that was probably why, because they didn't have enough space to really fill the Kanto region. But either way, it was still fun. Now, whenever I play Gen 2, I like to start my gym run in like I go to Pallet Town and then I do the gyms in order as the original game. You don't have to do that, but it's part of the nostalgia thing. And it was also at this time that I realized I can't use the poker flute to wake up Snorlax because I never got the radio card from Goldenrod City. And that's why I had a little pause here, because I was thinking, oh, hang on, how do I get through this? How do I get back? Because like I can't use a magnet train because you got to fix a power plant first. So basically, and then I remembered, if you fix a power plant first, you can get the train to run, and you can get your rail pass, and I'll be able to go back to Goldenrod conveniently, and then I can get my radio card, so I can get the poker flute to get rid of that Snorlax. So the side quest for that is over here in Cerulean City. All these Nugget Bridge trainers, yeah, they're actually mandatory. You actually have to battle them. And you will actually see that Misty is not here yet. And I actually was thinking the rocket. Then I thought, oh, hang on, I can't get the rocket to spawn. Do I actually have to get the radio card? But then I was just getting confused. I hadn't played this for a while, and then I remembered, no, hang on, I just have to get the power plant. That's why the rocket's not appearing, because your trainer hasn't learned that the part for the generator's been stolen. So as soon as you talk to him, okay, now the rocket will appear in Cerulean City. Okay, he is in the gym. You battle him here. This rocket is actually in one of the later Pokemon games. I can't remember which one, but they had him in as like a little Easter egg, which is very cool. So now we've got the part, we can go back to the power plant, which is operational again. In Gen 1, it was home to Zapdos and a bunch of Voltorb and Electrode. I got it back up and running again. So now I can tune into radio, which I don't have. So I will go to Saffron City. I will grab my rail pass from Copycat. To do that, you have to go find a Pokédoll. It's over in Vermilion City. It's in the trainer sort of like meeting place. What is it, a fan club or something? Which also is in the original Yellow, Blue and Red game as well. But you get the magnet pass. I can go back to Goldenrod City to get my radio card. Get through the quiz. And now I can go back to Saffron, head back to Snorlax, wake him up with the poker flute. And now I can make my way over to Pallet Town so I can go and visit Professor Oak. Anytime now. The trainers, I battled a few trainers here. I figured that I would have to be level 100 to beat Red, given the difficulty I had getting through the Pokemon League. Hopefully Bayleaf and Meganium can do a lot better. I mean, in theory they should, because they're stronger. But you never know. Viridian Forest, very empty in this game compared to the original. Same with the Rock Tunnel, it's also very small. So basically I'm playing through Kanto as I would if I was playing the original Yellow, Blue and Red. It's how I've always done it. It's how it's nostalgic, and I find it to be a bit more like... Because like Brock's not the weakest Kanto gym leader. That goes to Janine over in Fuchsia City. And yeah, there is another rival battle in Mount Moon. There's actually a little bit of a side quest you can do in Mount Moon where you get some dancing Clefairy and they'll leave behind a moonstone. But to get Misty in the gym, you have to come all the way back here and catch her on a date, which, to be honest, like, why would you run away? You just got some random dude there. You can, stop smooching and whatever. Like, you can both stand there. It's a public space. Anyway, Misty's a one hit for everything. Chikorita's actually really good for Kanto. It's a lot better in Kanto than what it is for Johto, even if it wasn't at level 93. Brock's weak against everything for Razor Leaf, same with Misty. At level 93, post-game is just going to be easy. The post-game wasn't that difficult, even if you weren't at level 93. After you've beaten the Elite Four, all of these trainers, they're not really that difficult to beat, because Lance is stronger than all of them anyway. So, going back through, actually, I'm going to go through Rock Tunnel just because it's kind of part of the pathway. And now, the encounter rate in Rock Tunnel on this game is broken. You take literally 6 steps at a time, except there. And there. No, maybe I'm imagining it. I swear the encounter rate seems so high sometimes on these games. So now we head all the way over back here. Usually that underground path you go through to get to Celadon in the original game. So I have to take a shortcut through Saffron. And we are going on over to Erica's gym, which if Chikorita was like the same level, it would probably have a bit of a problem because, Erica's grass types, Chikorita can't do that well against. But with Body Slam, it's a one hit on everything. So unfortunately for these runs, the Kanto part of the game probably isn't going to be that interesting. Simply because we're already so over-leveled, which we had to be to get through the Elite Four. So we're gonna head down to Fuchsia City. I can't go on the bike path because I didn't actually pick up the bicycle. I didn't need it because I'm speeding the game up. And even so, even with the game at this speed, fast forwarding the video 213% really goes to show just how long this took. I didn't think this run would take this long. So there's a few trainers around here, but I kind of figure I probably don't need a battle that much because I'm going to level up against Red anyway for all the times that Chikorita fails to beat him. And also, there's a couple of gym leaders left. Chikorita's going to gain a couple more levels anyway. Janine's Pokemon are level, mid-30s, which is weaker than the Elite Four. I don't know why they made Janine's gym that under-leveled. If anything, the Kanto gym leaders should be like around level 60, like minimum, to make this part of the game a little bit more battle interesting. Sabrina's no problem. Chikorita's outspeeding at this level. The last gyms, Blaine and Blue's gym. Blue's over on Cinnabar Island, which has been destroyed by a volcano as part of the story. So you head on over to what was Seafoam Island, which is a shell of what it used to be compared to Gem 1, where you would catch Articuno. But Blaine's no problem at this level. And we will now head on to Blue's gym, where you will not believe this, I actually lose. At level 95 Chikorita will actually lose. Yeah, it got beaten by Arcanine, which I found incredible. I could not believe that I lost. Second attempt, Arcanine did get a critical hit, which is unlucky. That's why it did as much damage as it did. So second attempt, I beat him. So now all the gym leaders are done. It's time to head over to Mount Silver, where I will attempt to beat Red, and I've already figured I'm going to be level 100 to beat him. I don't have high hopes for Chikorita. I do need to keep Togepi in with me. I actually forget to deposit the others for a little bit. You'd have to understand, as I played through this run, at this time, I was absolutely fried. I didn't want to play the game anymore. So my first battle against Red, a level 81 Pikachu. Now the thing is, Pikachu's a one hit, and it's a outspeed, so Chikorita's not really an issue. I didn't actually have my speed trigger going on. This is where I found a massive hurdle. If Venusaur uses Sunny Day, when Charizard comes out, if it uses Flamethrower while Sunny Day is active, Chikorita will get killed in one hit. Yeah. It was at this point where I was actually questioning whether Chikorita is actually going to be able to beat Red. How many times did I battle Red? It must have been... It'll be about 20 or 30, I think, attempts before I actually finally beat him. Because if the sunlight's strong, I have to try and hold out until it wears off before I encounter Charizard. Otherwise, Chikorita can't win. Because it'll get killed in the first hit. If Sunny Day's not active and Chikorita has more health, it'll survive a Flamethrower. But the problem is that if I have to stall against Venusaur, Chikorita's going to lose health, so I'm kind of stuck. So I'm like, you know what? I might as well just get to level 100. That's why I was battling those wild Pokemon and did that other trainer battle. I actually went into the Elite Four so I could level up to 100. And while this Elite Four, there's nothing interesting that's going to happen here. It's just going to be me getting to level 100. So basically, I was kind of playing in my mind. I can't get past Charizard if Sunny Day is active. It's one hit kill. And if I have to stall to get Sunny Day to wear off, Venusaur's going to damage Chikorita to the point where I can't have enough HP remaining to even survive a Flamethrower anyway. I have to be at full health. And I was kind of thinking like, how do I win? And that's when I remembered that you can actually get a leftovers in Celadon City, and at level 98, Chikorita actually beats the Elite Four without much trouble. And it took me a little bit to realise that I just battled wild Pokemon here until I got to level 100. I might have actually grown to level 100 against Red. I knew that I was going to be level 100 by the end of this. So, up to try him again. It did take me a few more battles before I finally remembered my strategy of getting that leftovers Now, here is where I got rid of Razor Leaf and I took Giga Drain. The reason why I did this is because Chikorita needs health during this battle. I don't need the PP of Razor Leaf to win, because I got Body Slam against the Blastoise and Snorlax and Espeon. So Giga Drain's only got 5 PP, which is kind of annoying. But now watch this. I use Mudslap 3 times, and look how many times Venusaur hit. I couldn't believe how bad my luck was there. But this is where I figured out if I go to Celadon City, I can actually get a Leftovers. And this Leftovers held item, it replenishes your HP every turn. And this is actually what got me over the line, I think. See, now this whole process was that traumatic. I actually can't. No, I remember getting a pink bow from the radio tower. And I don't actually know what. I think I think I clicked off on my screen. That's why my emulator stopped for a bit there. I almost hit the stop button on my microphone and I would have put everything out of sync. Oh, the joy of solo runs. So now that I've got the Leftovers, I kind of see the strategy. The sunlight's faded. Chikorita can survive a flamethrower, but it can't kill Charizard. It needs 3 hits. At level 99, it needs 3 body slams to knock out Charizard. Which is really horrible because I can't use Mudslap to lower Charizard's accuracy because it's part flying. Mudslap doesn't have any effect against it. So I pretty much need this Leftovers item to regain my HP. And I need to wait for the sunlight to fade, which doesn't happen here. And Chikorita actually survives it with the sunlight active, only just, but it's not going to work. I need Chikorita at higher health for Snorlax and everything else. So basically, I needed to attempt like maybe 4, well, was it maybe 4 or 5 times more, I think I needed to attempt. Or I decided to try and attempt with this strat, and the fact that I can't knock Charizard out in under 3 body slams means that I'm not going to be able to win. So I had to think of something else. I decided, well, first, let's just get Chikorita to level 100. Now, with a little bit of that extra attack boost, I might be able to knock Charizard out in 2 hits rather than 3. Because if I can't knock Charizard out in 2 hits, it's just going to knock me out every time. So, make the way back to red. And now, moment of truth, I lower Venusaur's accuracy with Mudslap. It hits me with Solar Beam. It uses Sunny Day again. It hits me with Solar Beam again after all those accuracy drops. Hits again. Uses Sunny Day again. And Venusaur was infuriatingly difficult to get through. And look at that. Level 100, it still cannot get past Charizard. It still needs 3 hits to get past Charizard. And I actually can't believe how difficult this is. I actually don't know what to do. Yeah, this was to the point where I was actually questioning whether or not Chikorita was going to be able to win. I actually thought that maybe Ed just can't do it, but I knew like that Charizard's probably a range. I just need a little bit of luck or a paralysis to hit and Charizard to be fully paralyzed or something like that just to give me that little bit of luck. I figured if I can get past Charizard, I can probably win. Because Red's going to use Blastoise last because of the weakness. Snorlax, on the other hand, is a bit of a worry because he's a pretty bulky Pokemon and he also has Rest. And I also have PP. So... I get a Body Slam. Nope, can't do it. Can't do it in under 2 Body Slams. It needs to be a 2-hit kill, otherwise it just can't do it. Now when I said I attempted 4 or 5 more times, I might have underestimated. It might have been more like 15. Like, this is... The creation of this video and doing this run was such a horrible experience. It was painfully difficult. Now there you go. That is the first time I've got past Charizard. I'm now against an Espeon that knows Psychic, a Snorlax that is really, really strong. And look at this. I hit Mud Slap a couple of times and Body Slam did not miss. And I couldn't believe it. I almost turned the game off. I almost gave up, but I thought, no, it can be done. So with the determination, I came back and I decided as soon as the sunlight fades, and like this battle required so much luck, and I actually got luck there. I actually got a critical hit with a Body Slam while Sunny Day was active, otherwise Charizard would have knocked me out. Now, I use the remainder of my Mud Slap on Snorlax to try to reduce its accuracy so it can't hit me with a Body Slam. Now, I am paralyzed, but that's not too bad. I use Giga Drain. And guess what? Blastoise knows Blizzard. Here I sat and thought, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Blastoise knows Blizzard, which is base. It's either it's over 100. I think it's either 110, 20, or 30. I can't remember exactly, but then I thought maybe Chikorita can't do it. Maybe Chikorita is just not going to be strong enough. But I wanted to be sure. I wanted to be absolutely sure. I believed in my Chikorita that it could do this. And then I ended up having... I had an idea of using the Pink Bow to boost the power of Body Slam, and it didn't work. Gen 2's coding is a bit odd. There's things that you get in the game that are supposed to do an effect, like Kurt's ball creations, like the fast ball, the moon ball and all that. They don't work. And neither do a lot of the other mechanics in this. This is where I went and I got the Pink Bow because I thought it would boost Chikorita's attack power by holding it. If it does work, it's a minuscule amount of damage. It's not even worth equipping. Either that or Gen 2's programming is that bad that the Pink Bow just doesn't do anything, which is also very possible. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm almost certain that in Gen 2 your held items don't actually make a difference. Besides Leftovers. Leftovers is the best held item in this. Another strat could have been to use the Berserk gene, but then it's just too luck-based. So I hit Charizard off. Now, I did actually kill Charizard in 2 hits, but I doubted myself, and I was actually wrong. The Pink Bow may not have done anything, but I actually managed to win. I do actually think it was a range on Charizard that actually got him knocked out. Unless I am wrong, and the Pink Bow does do a little bit, but I don't think it does. And then Giga Drain actually managed to heal. So, well, that's all for the video. This was absolutely horrible to do. I will do more of these solo runs. Hopefully they go better than Chikorita and they don't take an hour and a half to upload to YouTube. But thanks for watching if you made it this far. It probably wasn't the most entertaining, but I'll get better at them. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.